There are a whole lot of heroes in the MCU, a whole lot of villains too, with the incredible gift of superhuman strength. Some people that are strong enough to level cities or move mountains. Some who are even stronger than that. And today, let's take a look at all these characters, ranking them all from weakest to strongest when it comes to physical strength. So let's get into it. Jessica Jones might just be a PI in New York City, but she's also one of the strongest people in the whole MCU, and starting us off on our list. She's able to easily knock around and ragdoll normal people, even killing them with just one punch. She's bent metal, picked up the back of a car. Jessica was even able to hold up an elevator before. She's not the strongest person out there, or honestly the best at using her strength, but don't get it confused. She is seriously strong. Bucky Barnes was the second successful attempt at creating a super soldier, as he was injected with a serum similar to Captain America's while he's being held hostage by Hydra in the 1940s. It was this serum that allowed him to survive the fall off the train, that allowed him to become the Winter Soldier, that allowed him to fight against the likes of Captain America and Black Panther. The only thing is, his serum wasn't strong enough to allow him to save his arm. But hey, you know what? A vibranium arm might be even better in the grand scheme of things. T'Challa was the king of Wakanda, and as such, got access to the heart-shaped herb and all the crazy powers that come along with it. And Black Panther is a lot like Captain America and Winter Soldier, a superhuman super fighter. He's even strong enough to flip around cars, knock over rhinos, or fight on par with other super soldiers. What sets him apart from the bunch is his access to all the vibranium tech. It makes him dang near indestructible in a fight. It takes a villain like Thanos to knock him out. And if he stores enough energy inside the suit, he's able to floor Hulk level characters. Captain America is the leader of the Avengers, and he gets a serious power upgrade if you give him Mjolnir. But even without that, he's basically the pinnacle of human potential. He's incredibly strong, that shield of his is nearly indestructible, he's one of the best fighters on the planet. I mean, Captain America is so impressive, they had Deadpool gushing and even Thanos shocked. And the super soldier serum definitely worked on him. Cap is able to pull a helicopter out of the air. He's even strong enough to momentarily square off against both Ultron and Thanos. Luke Cage was wrongfully convicted and thrown into prison, where he underwent an experimental super soldier project, was given insane superhuman strength and nearly unbreakable skin. Luke Cage is ridiculously strong, one of the strongest street level heroes in the MCU, and stronger than your typical super soldier. In fact, he's way stronger than your typical super soldier. But it's really his durability and his unbreakable skin. Luke can survive almost any attack that comes his way, take bullets and explosions point blank, and all that makes him a very hard man to beat in a fight. The daughter of Thanos, Gamora is easily the most skilled fighter out of all the Guardians. I mean, there's a reason why she's known as the deadliest woman in the galaxy and as a living weapon. She's also superhuman, on par with someone like Drax. Gamora has shown off some seriously impressive strength feats throughout the years. Drax started on a quest for revenge for his family and rampaged across the galaxy, but it ended with him saving the galaxy a few times and forming a new family. Drax is probably the strongest member of the original Guardians, with the only one coming close to rivaling him being Groot. He's also incredibly durable, able to survive the heat of re-entry and crash landing on the outside of a spaceship. He's a brutal fighter and acts almost like a bull in a china shop, just wrecking everything in sight. However, while Drax believes that he has no limits, he clearly does. In his crazy, radical self-confidence, actually ends up with Drax putting himself in some pretty rough situations. Groot was Rocket's best friend, and together they traveled the galaxy picking up bounties until they met Star-Lord, Gamora, and Drax and formed the Guardians. Then in the ultimate act of self-sacrifice, Groot sacrificed his own life in order to save his new friends. Being a Flora Colossus, or basically a giant tree, Groot was superhumanly strong and superhumanly tough. He could also grow and shape his body, stretching out his limbs, creating shields. Just by basically relying on his brute strength, he can absolutely wreck shop and destroy almost any enemy that stands in his way. But of course, Groot didn't stay dead. No, baby Groot is all grown up now, and I think he's finally stronger than his dad. He can do basically all the same things that the original Groot could do, being super strong, super tough, all of that. But this Groot showed a whole lot more versatility. He can grow wings. He could even grow in size and turn into a giant kaiju. Sky's the limit with this new Groot. Spider-Man is low-key one of the most powerful heroes on Earth. He's fast and agile enough to dodge lightning and energy blast and everything that comes his way. With his spider sense, well, the man is low-key omniscient to a certain degree. But for this video, while he's strong enough to fight Hulk-level villains, Spider-Man was able to knock around Cole Obsidian, knock around Giant Man, hold up a big bell tower. Even momentarily holding the fairy together is a crazy strength feat for Peter. Rhodey is the best friend of Tony Stark, and cause Tony's a good guy, well, he made his friend his own Iron Man armor, the War Machine. The armor is pretty much the same as any Iron Man armor: superhuman strength, durability, the power of flight, and pretty much any weapon or gadget that you can imagine. And while you can't scale War Machine directly to Iron Man, Tony definitely built a better suit for himself. Rhodey said that he can easily throw around tanks, was even able to help restrain Thanos. Emil Blonsky, with the help of Thunderbolt Ross, was the government solution to match the destruction of the Hulk. Ross explained that the government had been trying to recreate Erskine's serum since the day it was proven a success. And so when Blonsky was given the opportunity to test one of these variants, he didn't hesitate to sign up. Unfortunately, this variation of the serum, along with the blood of Bruce Banner, resulted in the gruesome transformation of Blonsky to what we now know as the Abomination. And Abomination proved that he was seriously powerful and strong enough to fight against the Hulk, wrecking Harlem in the process. But nowadays, well, Abomination is trying to prove that he's really so much more than just a monster. Vision is one of the forgotten heroes in the MCU, but when he's at his best, well, he's really very powerful. His phasing allows him to cut through a lot of characters and attack them from the inside out. You can't forget, he has a literal infinity stone in his forehead that he can shoot at you. Another thing is his phasing gives him serious superhuman strength. He's able to make himself dense enough to where he could even knock around Giant Man. Ultron is an AI that was originally designed to be a force for peace, before Ultron decided that the best way to make a peaceful world is to literally kill every person on the planet. He built a robot body that made him an Avengers level threat, able to fight against Iron Man or Thor, and that's seriously impressive. Even if Thor was kinda letting it happen, throwing around the God of Thunder and beating him up is a seriously impressive feat. Iron Man is basically the face of the Avengers. With all his different high-tech armors, well, he is seriously powerful. I mean, this is a guy who went one-on-one, mano-a-mano, with Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. Even if the fight didn't end too great for Tony, that is still insanely impressive. He's able to fight gods, genocidal robots, and is smart enough and strong enough to come up with an answer to any problem he faces. Icarus is the leader and most powerful member of the Eternals. He's a cosmically powerful super robot and basically functioned like Superman in the MCU, except that he kinda went evil at the very end. He's the most powerful Eternal out there. He's a country-level threat, he's basically immortal, and can literally fly faster than light. He probably would have been much higher on this list if he hadn't gotten a guilty conscience and flown headfirst into the sun, because only one showing is only going to get you so high here. Ant-Man might not be too impressive when it comes to strength, but as soon as he transforms into Giant Man, that's a whole different story. He's got strength nearly on par with the Hulk himself. He's able to grow hundreds of feet tall, and along with that, he's got the ability to level buildings and throw around some seriously massive structures. I mean, Scott as Giant Man was legitimately a threat to the likes of Kang the Conqueror. You might have forgotten about Curse, but he's still up there as one of the strongest guys in the MCU. I mean, that's what happens when you're able to bully Thor and send him just absolutely flying with each punch and kick you throw out. Now, Thor has gotten more powerful since then. I doubt the fight would play out the same way if it happened now. But just Curse being able to do this to any version of Thor is seriously impressive. Namor is the ruler of an underwater kingdom, and one area where you gotta give him props is strength. Namor is impressively strong, able to toss around Wakandan jets and spin around helicopters. Anything in the sky, he's gonna bring it down. But it's really his striking that's the most impressive. He's able to take his vibranium spear and pierce right through all the Wakandan ships and planes, all of which are made with vibranium. And it's not just only with the spear. Namor was able to shatter M'Baku's staff, then send him flying with a punch and bust apart his armor. Both of those things are made out of Jabari wood, which is reportedly able to go toe-to-toe with vibranium. And if you're able to break vibranium, well, you're one of the strongest guys in the MCU. Thunderbolt Ross has officially transformed into the Hulk, and he is insanely strong, which I mean, does make sense. He's a Hulk. He was able to tear apart the White House, level the West Wing with a thunderclap, easily smash through another part of the building, even tear apart the Washington Monument as he was jumping past. But Red Hulk's greatest strength feat comes from his fight with Captain America. Ross was able to rip apart Cap's wing with just one hand, then crack and crush his helmet, all of which was vibranium, the strongest, toughest, most indestructible metal in the world before adamantium came around, and Red Hulk is crushing it and tearing it apart in his bare hands. That's some of the greatest strength we've ever seen in the MCU. He's insanely strong. I don't think it's any surprise that the Hulk is a little bit of a disappointment in the MCU. He started out super strong in the Incredible Hulk and the Avengers, had some nice showings in Thor Ragnarok, but then he lost to Thanos, became the Professor Hulk, and never managed to recover. But still, it's the Hulk. The big guy is incredibly strong. He's had some great feats along the way, fighting against Thor, punching Surtur in the face, one-shotting a Leviathan, or even snapping the Infinity Gauntlet. The God of Thunder. For a lot of years, Thor was able to hold onto the title as strongest Avenger and most powerful hero in the MCU. Of course, the MCU has been constantly expanding ever since then, and a few people have passed him up. But he's still a god. He's still incredibly powerful. He's the only hero who's legitimately shown off planetary level strength on screen. He's battled against some of the toughest villains out there. He's definitely powerful, and on a whole different level than most every other hero. Captain Marvel is basically in a class all her own compared to a lot of the other heroes in the MCU. Only a few can even remotely compare next to her now that she's had some massive upgrades from her new movie. Like at her best, well, she's at least hundreds of thousands of times faster than the speed of light. She can fight against Thanos and overpower him, and she was legit able to reignite a star just based off her own raw power. She's truly in a class all her own. The Asgardian goddess of death and Odin's firstborn, Hela was banished for her bloodlust. When she eventually managed to make her way back, well, she came back with a vengeance. Hela has a mystical connection to Asgard, meaning that she's more powerful there than anywhere else. So her feats might be a little skewed, but she was able to dominate in her fight against Thor every single time. Made it look easy. It's not like she was not powerful anywhere else. She literally shattered Mjolnir in the palm of her hand while still on the earth. Thanos. For a good long while, he stood on top of the MCU as the most powerful being there is. Mostly because he had the Infinity Gauntlet and no one else did. And never forget that with the Gauntlet, he managed to kill literally half of the entire universe. He's a warlord, a genocidal maniac, and still one of the biggest powerhouses to date. Even outside of the Gauntlet, well, Thanos is still able to absolutely wipe the floor with the whole Avengers roster. So yeah, don't sleep on this guy. But the strongest guy in the MCU in terms of pure physical strength, well, it's gotta be Surtur. Surtur has always been Doom. For countless millennia, it was told that he would bring about Ragnarok, destroying Asgard and completely consuming the realm. Odin and the Asgardians did everything they could to stop that, but they couldn't stand up against destiny for forever. Surtur eventually made his way to Asgard and destroyed everything, completely wiping out the entire realm. He was strong enough to destroy one of the 9 realms. That's absolutely insane.